Thank you for visiting the Awakening Movement channel. It has been a crazy September month for me, and I haven't had any videos that I've posted because of the hecticness of the month. But I wanted to come on and post a video because I haven't forgot about my lucid dreaming practice. Even when things get difficult, I still make time to document my dreams, and it's still very important to me regardless of what is going on in my waking reality. So this particular video that I am making today is about once you wake up in a dream, what next? And I wanted to provide some pointers as to what to do, how to prepare, and how to stay in the lucid dream state. So first things first, you've become lucid. You've awoken in your dream, you've done your reality check, you've stretched out your finger, you've seen an elephant on a unicycle, you know you're dreaming, you've come to that realization that you're dreaming, and you've woken up. First thing that typically happens in that moment is there is a huge shift. Everything in the dream typically becomes hyper real. There's a hyper level of reality that floods you. Everything around you is so vivid, and it is more real than real. It is actually more real than our waking reality. And it can be very jolting. It's very exciting. And a lot of times people will initially wake up in their dream, and then because they get so excited, they literally wake themselves up from their excitement. So it's pretty common, happened to me. The first time I became lucid, and I was so excited that I woke up, but I didn't even care because I had the ability to become lucid now. Like, I finally did it. So don't be down on yourself if that does happen. It's just a part of the process. So you become lucid. Let's say you now have become lucid. You went to sleep and you became lucid again, and you woke up in your dream. One of the best things to do is it's kind of like a meditative. When you go into a meditation, you have to calm yourself down, make it easy on yourself by, focusing. Yes, you're going to get excited, but you don't want that excitement to wake you up out of the dream. So you focus on something maybe in the dream, or maybe you close your eyes, just to bring yourself kind of back to a calmer state. And once you've done that, you have stabilized your energy, and then you can kind of proceed from there. Sometimes what will happen is you'll get really excited and start to notice that the dream will start to kind of fade and disappear right in front of your eyes. As your excitement levels go up, the dream starts to fade because you're starting to wake up. And it's just really important to, again, center yourself. You're really excited, but you want to make sure you don't wake up. So you kind of just learn to relax and just take a breath, close your eyes, and stabilize your energy. What I find really helpful is to kind of just look at something in the dream and focus on that one thing in the dream. Whether you could be looking at yourself in a mirror, you could be looking at a flower, you could be looking at an animal, you could be looking at anything in the dream, but just focus your attention on that rather than the excitement of being awake. So that is something that you can do. Now that you've stabilized the dream, what next? Well, a lot of times what I tell people is that it's really important to come up with a set of questions or activities you want to engage in. Initially, a lot of times people will jump straight to wanting to fly, because who doesn't want to fly? And that's great, and that's fine, and you can do that. You can fly, you can ask to see a deceased relative. If you can do that, amazing. Have an interaction with that relative, ask them questions. But typically flying, and then the other one is sex. People will ask for their favorite celebrity to come on down, if you know what I mean. Or people will have orgies, or basically their wildest dreams can come true. literally like their wildest dreams. So, and that's fun, and you can do that. It's just that for me, I personally, in that moment of becoming lucid is so profound, and you can do so much work with that lucidity on your unconscious and so heal so much of yourself, that if you can come up with some questions that you want to ask directly to your unconscious, you can literally just like look up and ask, what needs to be healed, what needs to be healed, or what do I need to see that can help me, or what do I need to know to help guide my life, or where does my anger come from, or where does my fear come from, or anything of that nature. That these kind of like not self-centered, but like self-focused questions that could provide healing for you. Those are really great questions to ask, and you can literally ask, and the dream will respond. The unconscious will respond to you. It can respond back in a voice that you don't see the person, or it can respond back as a dream character coming up to you. It could respond in the emergence of a scene in front of you. There's a lot of ways that it can respond. So it's important to have either an activity or a set of questions or a single question, and remind yourself of that, so that before you become lucid, when you're doing your practices to get into to the lucid state, you remind yourself, pick maybe one activity and one question. So that way when you get there, you're not like, oh, what do I do? Because I've done that, where I didn't quite have anything ready to ask or do. And the first thing I did was, oh, I want to fly. And I just start flying. And it's like, yeah, that's wonderful. And that can be healing in its own way. However, sometimes what I've realized is those specific questions tend to do me more benefit than the flying. So having those and reminding yourself of your question and your activity, your question or your activity. Another thing that you want to prepare for, you ask the question, the activity, or you can go ahead and maybe engage with the dream narrative rather than trying to manipulate the dream. You can engage with the dream characters as if you're still asleep in the dream, and talk to them and gain information from them. Because when you allow the dream to unfold without manipulating it, you can do really deep, profound investigative work as to what it is your unconscious is trying to communicate to you through that specific dream. It is a really great way to work with your unconscious or your superconscious mind, and receive answers directly without really resistance or manipulation. For myself, my unconscious prefers when I work with it. Initially in my lucid dreams, I had complete power over, and I would just be able to manipulate and do whatever I wanted. And then slowly, I noticed that the unconscious didn't quite like that, and started to resist me almost, because I was coming in with all of this gusto, wanting to manipulate, control, and do all these things. And the unconscious doesn't want that. It's its own entity. It doesn't want to be controlled in that way, and eventually started to fight back. And I've realized that doesn't work for me. Now, not everybody's the same. We are all different, so that might not happen. That might not be the case for you. But for me, I've had to learn to work with my unconscious rather than try to control it completely. So there's that. If you're in the dream, let's say, and you find yourself getting really excited and hype about something that takes place, there are a couple techniques that you can do to stay in the dream so that the dream does not dissipate. One of those techniques is the spinning technique. If the dream starts to dissolve and come apart, you can start spinning. And once you spin the dream and you spin and you look down at the ground. And by spinning and looking down at the ground does not change. the rest of the dreamscape will change, but the ground will remain the same. So by spinning, it's almost like you're stabilizing your own scene, and because the ground is pretty consistent in the dreamscape, it's not going to change. So when you do look up after spinning, you may see a different scene in front of you, but the dream did not dissipate. Another great technique is meditating in your dream. I've done this, I think 2 times when I've actually remembered to do it. One of the times that I did it, I experienced a full Kundalini rising. It was very profound, came all the way up and out of my forehead, and it was just all this energy shooting out, and I was kind of like, and feeling that energy just kind of coming out. And then one of the other times, I just went into complete, like a dark state, and just was in this like very, it was a blissful state, a very blissful state of being. And by meditating in the dream, it can help you to calm down. It can help you to experience higher states of consciousness. It can also help you to, like I said, stabilize the dream and allow you sometimes to just awaken and move energy. I mean, I had full Kundalini rising in that one instance of meditating in the dream. So that is an awesome way to get things to kind of stabilize and to kind of help expand your consciousness. It's really a beautiful practice, and the more you can engage with the unconscious, the more you can do in terms of healing work. I say that the unconscious realm that you enter is the same realm that you enter in the psychedelic space. It's all the unconscious. The higher self is there, and you're directly interfacing with it. You're directly talking to it and having questions. If you're struggling with something in life, you can ask it a specific question that has to do with whatever it is that you are struggling with. If you're looking to be healed if you're looking to be healed from something, it is a way to directly heal yourself from within without having to do talk therapy, without having to sit with a psychedelic medicine. All those things are great. Well, for myself, I've realized that being able to become conscious in my dreams and directly speak with the unconscious has resulted in so much healing for me. So, overall, it's really important to remember these things, try to practice them, try to remind yourself, really reflect and meditate on what question that you will ask in the dream state, and play with it. Like, not every time is going to be the same. There are going to be times where you're going to get really excited and it's just going to all dissipate, and there's going to be times where you're going to be able to just directly interface and ask the questions and really be with your dream. This past June, I had a lucid dream that was the longest lucid dream that I ever had from start to finish. I was awake for the entirety of the dream, and I spoke to a friend of mine's deceased brother, passed on information to her. I was able to pull myself out of a cemetery, and this like gray version of myself, I pulled myself out, and I basically, as I walked away with this version of myself that was completely nude, we walked in separate directions, and I sent it love, and I sent myself happiness, and I sent myself good fortune. And as we separated, like, I was sending this energy to myself. And since then, there have been challenging moments in the last few months for me, but again, they've all been working for my own favor, and I may have not realized that in the moment. I may have been struggling with those things that have come up in the moment. However, now as I'm able to reflect, I'm realizing more and more that those things were there that they were things to serve me for my highest good. So, play with it. Keep your practice going. I will continue to post videos. I hope that you're able to achieve your lucidity, and with that lucidity, I pray that you're able to receive deep healing, and then you're able to spread the practice of lucid dreaming with others that it might benefit. So if you are able to become lucid after watching some of my videos, please let me know. I love to hear about other people's experiences and what they've been able to accomplish through their ability to cultivate the practice of lucid dreaming. And with that, I say thank you for visiting my channel. Please hit subscribe if you enjoyed my videos. Hit like. Feel free to leave me a comment if there's any topics that you want me to specifically focus on, or if you have any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comments. I'm always here to respond. I respond to all my comments, and I appreciate any and all love that I get on this channel. And with that, I bid you adieu, and may you have sweet and profound lucid dreams. Thank you.